I remember saying, Lord, if the heart is more important than the body, why? And he said, Jo, I wouldn't swap the journey for anything in the world. And I said, explain, Lord. And he took me to Psalm 147 and verse 3. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. 2 different words for heal. Heal is the Jehovah Rapha that we all talk about. And it's the outcome. He cures the pains and sorrows. You know, there is no pain, no sorrow, no tragedy, no trauma that God can't completely heal. After our daughter died, at the time she was our only child, God reached into the depths of our hearts. He pulled all that pain out. He healed us completely. And I stand before you as a woman who has a daughter in heaven that I will see again one day. I don't miss her. I don't feel sadness about her, because we serve a God who cures, heals all our griefs and sorrows.
Yes. Oh, glory.
You know, what is this word shalom? Nothing missing, nothing broken. When we miss someone, it's because there's something missing. And God is saying, I want to fill the void. He heals, Jehovah Rapha, but then it's the second part. And binds up. You know, that word is a word habas in the Hebrew, and it speaks of the tender love and care of God. It's like a mother's love, that love that says, I just want to wrap you up in my arms and hold you. It's that love that says, tell me what went wrong today, because you're the only one in my sight. You see, the habas love of God doesn't just bind up your heart and bring your healing. It introduces you to the affection and intimacy of God in a way that I don't believe we can experience any other way. Why do you think Jesus is your wonderful counselor? Because he wants you to come into his presence and share your pain, share your heart with him. You know, one of the things I learned to do in my journey, there's an amazing prayer in the book of Genesis. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 22, or the other way round. Could you check, Ruth? Is it 22, 25? I forget every time. I've got to find a way of remembering. But that verse, this is when Isaac and Rebecca had been believing God for a child for 20 years. And then eventually Rebecca got pregnant. Now, we don't know what she was feeling exactly. We don't know if she was in pain. We don't know if she was churning on the inside, if she was just so heavy that she didn't know what to do with herself. But she prayed a monumental prayer. She said, if all is well, then why am I like this? That became my prayer, my friend. Every time if my husband suddenly hung up on the phone and it made me feel rejected, he's a busy man. I would say, Lord, if all is well, then why does someone just hanging up the phone abruptly make me feel bad? If all is well, why am I like this? And he would always shine his light and show me, Lord, if all is well, then why do I find powerful Christian men intimidating? And he shone his light into the depth of my heart and showed me how afraid and terrified I'd been by men shouting as a child. Let me tell you something about power. God showed me I was afraid of power. And let me tell you why. Because there are 2 sources of power. Power that comes from God is carried along these cables, let's call it that. It's carried on love. And power that comes from God brings light, revelation, understanding, wisdom, and life, healing, resurrection power. Power that comes from the devil is carried on a cable called dread. And it brings darkness. And it brings death, fear, trauma, abuse. And so you see, If all is well, why am I like this? And the Lord showed me, Joe, you're afraid of anyone who you see has a lot of power. And as soon as he healed my hurt and then opened my eyes, I wasn't afraid anymore.
Oh, glory.
You see, I want to encourage you as a woman of God. Anytime you see an insecurity, anytime correction feels like rejection, anytime a put down makes you feel small. Because you see, our standard must be the Lord Jesus Christ. And if him being put down didn't make him feel small, but instead made him feel even more loving,
Oh, glory.
then if all is well, Lord, why does correction feel like rejection? And if that's you, if correction does feel like rejection, let me tell you, it's because praises feels like approval.
That's good.
That's for another day.
Oh, that's good.
God took me on a journey. As he healed my heart, my insecurities dropped off.
Oh, glory.
As he healed my heart, the spirit of unclean spirit just left me. As he healed my heart, my husband became a happy husband. Let's just put it that
Oh,
way.
glory. Thank you, Jesus.
You see, the deep issues of the heart show up in our lives. And God is saying, I want to raise you up. But I need to start in your heart. As I bring this to a close, and then we're going to go into a time of prayer, a time of ministry. God is about to do a work in the depths of your innermost being. There are some of you, and you've been carrying rejection, burdens, pain, grief, sadness, and it's been weighing you down. But let's first go back to Leah's journey, how she evolved. You see, it says that the Lord saw that Leah was despised in verse 31.